folks, welcome back. Today we're going to put together some cinnamon buns by request from Lisa. So this one goes out to Lisa after several requests over the years for me to show her how to make cinnamon buns. I always said that nothing like picking something and making bread from scratch to a good place to start. So let's put all of the ingredients together for our simple bread, and then we'll let it rise and rest, and we'll take it from there. So I'm going to start by 12 ounces of, this is actually a whole milk with a little 8 ounces of whole milk and a few ounces of water as well. Just because I like it, don't use a lot of milk in many breads. I'll use it today because it's more of a dessert type bread. So I have 12 ounces here. I'm going to start by putting about 11 ounces in my stand mixer. I have 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. I'm actually going to wait on that. I'm going to put my yeast in right now, which is 1 packet of instant yeast. I don't have to let it bloom within the water because I am using a quick rise instant yeast, just because that's what I have in the cupboard today. And then I'm going to try to keep the salt a little bit away from the yeast right now, but I will throw my sugar in there. This is a larger amount of sugar than I would usually use. This is about 1/2 cup of white sugar. You could use white and brown sugar combined. You could use honey if you choose. I'm just using straight white sugar today. Normal loaf of eating bread would be less than half of that amount of sugar, but for me anyway. So I'll put my sugar in there. Let's actually just give this a little bit of a mix. Start incorporating. I'm going to put my 1 single egg at room temperature in there. There again, I don't usually use an egg in any of the breads I make, but I'll do it today because of the kind of bread we're making. About 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. And I have 4 cups of, this is bread flour. You could just as easily use normal all-purpose flour. It just happens to be I had bread flour in the house, so. And now I'm going to put my salt in as well. I personally try to keep the salt away from the yeast. And this is starting to incorporate. I have another camera here, so I'm going to show it there. Hard to tell right now, possibly a little bit dry, but that's why we left this touch out. And I still will be throwing in my butter here in a minute. So. I'm going to throw equivalent to about 2 tablespoons of butter. There. Hard to tell right now, possibly a little bit dry, but that's why we left this touch out. And I still will be throwing in my butter here in it. Do a little bit of hand kneading, just getting it ready here so I can get a feel for it. And so it's not noisy behind the machine. Texture feels pretty good. You can feel it. That's incorporated all our ingredients together. This will rise a little bit slower than some of the other breads that you might be more used to. Primarily because we have quite a bit of liquid, different liquid with the butter and stuff in it. So it should be a problem. Has a nice smell with that little bit of cinnamon in it. Perfect. I can see it breaking down nicely. I can feel the glutens come together, still tearing there. What we will do is in clean bowl, a little bit of oil to keep it from sticking. This a little bit more of a knead. You could have kept this going in your stand mixer as well. I kind of like have a feel for the bread, which I definitely do. You can feel it. It's incorporated all our ingredients together. This will rise a little bit slower than some of the other breads that you might be more used to, primarily because we have quite a bit of liquid, different liquid with the butter and stuff in it. So it should be a problem. Has a nice smell with that little bit of cinnamon in it. Perfect. I can see it breaking down nicely. I can feel the glutens come together, still tearing there. A little bit of oil to keep it from sticking. This a little bit more of a knead. You could have kept this going in your stand mixer as well. I kind of like have a feel for the bread, which I definitely do. You can feel it. Bring it together. Nice dough ball you'll see when it comes out. So I'm going to throw it in this grease bowl for right now. We're going to want double the size and put some saran over it. I'm going to throw it in the oven, which I have on proof right now, which I believe is somewhere around 120 odd degrees, I think, in the oven. There we go. And throw it in the oven. Let's let it proof. I'll check it in about an hour. I guess it's going to be closer to 2 hours for this one. And then we will, about 2 hours for this one, then we will roll it out, get it together, cut the cinnamon buns, put them in our pan, let them do another rise and then bake them. This is actually a good one if you want to actually let the second rise happen overnight in the fridge. It actually works fairly well, but we'll try to get it all done to see how our rise goes today. So stay tuned, and we'll be back. A bit of more exciting, a little bit of a glaze that goes with it. Don't always do this. This is kind of optional for you. I'm going to break up a little bit of pecan. I'm going to toast it slightly. I'm going to make a little bit of a caramel, and then I'm going to put that at the bottom of our cinnamon bun pan, and you'll see what happens. So first thing I'm going to do is I have some pecan halves here, which you can use the whole halves. I prefer it broken up a little bit, so I just have it in a Ziploc baggie here, and I'm going to use my rolling pin to slightly break them. That's about it. Then I will, I'm going to toast them off a little bit, and then I'll skip over here and we'll make the caramel. So stay tuned. Just going to try to bring a little bit of the oils out of the nuts. Gonna let that cool for a little bit now. So we have our caramel that we're making. We got nuts, which you can smell that the oils are just getting activated in there. Let's take a look at where our dough is here. Look at it right here as well. Almost doubled in size. If we take a look at it right there, it's almost doubled in size. Nice air. I'm gonna pound it down here in a minute. We'll give it another few minutes, pound it down there, roll it out, and get it ready. Gonna make a couple pan. My mistake is, I think this pan is probably a little bit bigger than what I wanted to, but we're gonna give it a run. We're gonna lay a little parchment at the bottom of this. Not necessarily required, but we'll call it recommended. Yeah, run a knife over it. Okay, just like that. Then I'm going to take my nuts, which we had toasted off a little bit. I'm going to put a nice thin layer on the bottom. They're not so thin. see there. And then this Carmel, as it thins, it's going to be perfect. Amazing. I gotta put a dusting of cinnamon on top of that. And this is what we have, folks. Right there. Can't really show you because but we do have it on the other screen as well. And we're gonna let that sit a bit. And let's play with our dough. So here we are. Dough is pretty much doubled in size. I'm not even sure how long it's been, to tell you the truth. I'm going to venture it's been an hour and a half. So now we're going to take a little bit of flour, make some room. Let's dust our surface a little bit here. Beautiful. Nice and airy. We're gonna take that down now. Let's roll it into a slab with our handy dandy rolling pin. Question will be, well, how big of a slab do I make? That's entirely up to you. I didn't there's no rhyme or reason how thick of a bread. Remember, if you roll out too much, your bread will become pretty thin. But it is still going to do another rise here, remember as well. Just do focus on trying to get it as square as you can. Roll out. Actually looks pretty good. Butter. Lots of butter. Can't see this, sorry. Nice layer of butter all over your dough. cinnamon. You can pre-mix. I mean, it's up to you as far as flavoring. There's a lot of directions I could be giving you, how much sugar and how much, like another half a cup of brown sugar, so on and so forth. But for me, this is just how I do it. Nice layer of cinnamon, because that's what it's all about. We got some light brown sugar here. We're going to combine, so a little bit of light brown sugar. This is when it gets a little bit interesting. So what we have here, we have some dark brown sugar. We have some, light brown sugar, which is what we put on here already. We have white sugar, which we're all familiar with. And then we have demerara sugar. So whatever you do, don't mix up, don't confuse dark brown sugar with demerara sugar. By the time it cooks and it melts, you end up with quite a bitter taste in your product. So, and that's coming from the large amount of molasses that comes out of that's left in the demerara sugar. Great for things like smoking, especially on salmon and whatnot. So now we have a little bit of dark brown sugar, not demerara sugar. So what makes it darker is a little bit more molasses still left in it. So remember, when this butter and the sugars all incorporate, it will make another form of, it will just make another form of that Carmel that we already placed in the bottom. A little bit of white sugar. Why not? And what I like to do finally I'll put a very fine dusting of flour. Why, you might ask? I find that little bit of flour helps keep the butter, the sugar, the caramel that it's going to create within the bun rather than all soaking out of the bun. I found it works like a thickening agent, in other words. So there we are. We have our masterpiece. So let's roll it up and cut it up. I'm going to roll it this way. Usually, obviously, I want to be rolling it, towards me or away from me. But what I am doing is I'm trying not to stretch the dough any more than I have to. I don't want it to be super thin. But if you do feel that you're getting it along, you can just give it a little pull back as you're rolling it. I'll tighten it up just a little bit. Like there, there, there. These corners pull out a little bit to help square them off. post to leave the fine edge. And there we are. That's our cinnamon log. Okay, we got our pan. This is firming up now. You see that a little bit. A couple different ways we can cut this. And how big do you want? Like that. So there we are. Throw a cover on this, let them rise a little bit, and then we'll bake it off. Let's try this again. So we started with, we have one full block of cream cheese, full fat cream cheese. I'm going to give that a little bit of a whip here just to get it going. Once that's going, we will add in, we'll start with half a cup cream cheese. I'm going to start with icing sugar. And here we are out of the oven. Let them cool for a little bit. Let the sugars and all caramelize, and then we'll take it out of the pan and celebrate it. And here we are, the final product. Get rid of my drinking can. I just flipped it upside onto another pan. It's hard to see. Come around. So all of that caramel that we had created, all on there. Pictures. There's our cream cheese icing, which we talked about. Still a bit warm. but a success. So there's quick and easy cinnamon buns, or pretty easy cinnamon buns. So enjoy and let me know what you think. Bye for now.